Yo, what up? All right. It's a little late right now, but I'm doing a fast, right? And I can't eat. So I figured to distract myself, I'd come on here and just kind of talk a little bit. Just took a couple of little hits of weed, get my mind going a little bit, enjoying the evening. That is for sure. I hope you guys are enjoying whatever time of day you are partaking in the listening of this program. I figured I'd come on here and talk a little bit about actually fasting and nutrition and weight loss for jujitsu because I think that people have a lot of confusion about nutrition. And I think if we could kind of like lay it out there, we could break it down really simple, right? I've been talking a lot about this with my client who is doing a competition in a couple weeks and needs to weigh like about 7 pounds less. Now, I'm actually doing the same tournament, and I decided that I'm going to go a weight class lower versus the weight class that I just did. I'm also going up in to intermediate from beginner. So this should be fun. Uh, what I'm basically doing is just trying to incorporate periods of fasting. And what is this doing, right? Because you can fast, you can eat a diet, you could follow a diet, whatever you want to do. You keto, eat low carb. But what's actually happening, okay? In order for your body to lose weight, now you can lose weight through different things, right? You can lose weight from water weight, which is the most common way for people to weight cut, especially if they're trying to weigh in for a particular event. But I kind of want to look at weight loss from two different perspectives. You have weight loss of the perspective of I want to get in better shape, I want to decrease my body fat percentage, and then you have the weight loss of I need to weigh in for a particular event, whether it's whatever sport that you're doing. But in this case, we're talking about jujitsu. You can even look at like UFC. You can see powerlifting, weightlifting, any sort of competition that involves weight. People will manipulate their weight in order to give themselves the best advantage for the size in comparison to the rest of the people that are competing. So, what's the difference though? Do you do something different for both? Absolutely. Depending on what your goal is for weight loss, you would absolutely do different things. If you're just looking like, hey, I've never really been in shape before, I want to lose body fat, I'm not really too concerned with the weight, I don't really care that much about stepping on the scale, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to change my weight, I just want to decrease my body fat percentage, I want to look leaner. What it all comes down to in losing body fat is being in a calorie deficit. What does that mean? Our body burns a certain amount of calories per day. You can read that on the nutrition label. If you consume less calories than your body burns, then your body uses body fat as energy because it's storing that energy. When you have excess calories, it stores body fat. So you use that body fat as energy when you're eating in a calorie deficit. So the main thing with weight loss and body fat percentage loss is finding a way to be consistent with eating in a calorie deficit, right? For an extended period of time. Now, this is really important because a lot of people they try to do the whole like keto or they try to follow a particular type of diet or a new type of lifestyle, and what happens is they wind up going on this roller coaster of yo-yoing where they go back and forth of losing weight and gaining weight, and all it really winds up doing is making you feel frustrated. And I've been there before, so that's why I kind of understand this a little bit as to why that happens. I've also worked with hundreds of clients that have had to struggle with this yo-yoing, some for 50, 60 years. It's insane, right? So that's what's most important. And it has to be enjoyable, right? Like you can't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to eat pizza for the rest of my life." Like, come on, come on, you're going to eat pizza, dude, girl, homie. Right? We're all homies here, so I don't care about your gender. You can identify as a helicopter, circle, a alligator, whatever like you want. But we're all homies here if you're watching. So appreciate you. But yeah, the calorie deficit thing. So now, how does this become different when you're trying to lose weight for competition? Well, usually you're going to be trying to lose large amounts of weight in a short period of time. So yes, being in a calorie deficit does matter, but now you need to factor in some other things. During this time, you need to make sure that your stomach has as little food as possible, along with lower sodium levels to make sure that your body is not holding on to any excess water retention, as that's going to make your weight go up. Even if you have the same amount of body fat, if you have less water retention, you will lose weight. So if you're trying to lose 7 pounds in 2 weeks, you kind of have to go into a little bit of an extreme measure. Now, for regular weight loss, why wouldn't people just try to go for that approach anyway? Like, for instance, I'm doing a fast where right now I haven't eaten since 6 p.m. and I've really only eaten like 2,000 calories today. And for me, that's really low. I usually maintain my weight at like 28 to 3,000 calories, 2,800 to 3,000 calories. And I've been kind of steady gaining weight by eating 3,500 calories. So I'm in the upper portion of like the 170s, and I'm looking to get under 170 to weigh in. So I need to kick it up a notch. So what I do is I adopt certain strategies into my lifestyle in order to ensure that I can be in a better calorie deficit without it being too miserable. So that's why I'm doing the fast, because then I don't have to worry about food for the rest of the evening, and I can get in like a nice meal. I had a nice dinner, like that's it. I wasn't really planning it, but I knew that it would probably just be more beneficial. Uh, this can be powerful in a way if we look at like heroin addicts, right? Heroin addicts, when they're trying to quit, their whole objective is to quit, to stop doing it. And what usually happens? They say to themselves, they have this conversation with themselves, oh, I am only going to do a little bit of heroin, right? I'm only going to do a little bit, right? No, you have to stop doing it entirely. And actually, we know that stopping is easier than just trying to do a little bit because you don't need to manage it so much. So the thing about food, if you have a problem with food, is you're not just going to stop eating, right? But by stopping eating for shorter periods of time, it can help you stop thinking about food. So, for instance, if I were to say, "Oh, I'm only going to eat a little bit tonight," well, I'd probably start eating, and then I would wind up just eating more and more and more because I already got started. And for me, I know when I get started, I get more hungry and I continue to eat. If I tell myself I'm just not going to eat, I don't think about it and I don't really feel that hungry. So that's why fasting can be very beneficial, especially when you're trying to do extended periods of fasting for particularly weight cutting for an event. Now, in some cases, I don't recommend fasting for most athletes, and the reason for that is now some people think that they perform really well on fasting, and if that's you, go ahead, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you feel is good. But for those of you who have those days where you're doing 2 days, you're strength training, you're really taxing yourself through these high intense training sessions, you need to fuel yourself. You need to eat smaller portioned meals throughout the day, right? In order to keep that feel going. Now, like I said, some people feel really good at fasting. I find that eating smaller portions throughout the day when the training is done periodically throughout the day, it winds up being better for recovery. Now, if you just have one session, hey, in the morning, like at 7 in the morning, hey, go fast it. If you want to stay fasted all the way till 12, be my guest. But I find that most people who fast for long periods of time will usually tend to overeat in their non-fasting window, especially when it comes to doing multiple training sessions because your body is just really trying to get nutrients in. But in this case, I wasn't training tonight, and I can leave that fasting going. And this is kind of what we're doing with my client as well. She's kind of now I never really tell people what to do. I more so kind of guide people and what they want to do. So I'll ask what the people want to do. And she brought up actually fasting. Now, I've already previously educated her on fasting, and she made the decision for herself to do fasting. So I don't recommend that you do fasting. I recommend that you do what you're interested in. So if you're interested in trying fasting to see what happens, go ahead and try it. So that's what she wanted to do. Now, because of that, it's obviously going to mean that she's going to eat less calories, which is going to help her weigh in, as she needs to lose weight for her weight, for to reach the weight goal of the competition and being able to weigh in without going into like heavyweights, right? So, and that can be a very strong advantage for all of us athletes who need to weigh in for a particular event. Uh, we need to be careful of that and know where our body is at. Now, the problem is that this type of eating cannot be sustained for long periods of time. I can tell you that after the competition, I am going to eat so much food. I'm going to be in New York for the first time since moving to South Carolina. I'm going to eat some pizza. I'm going to eat some burgers. I'm going to eat some fries while I'm up there. Probably going to have some ice cream. I'm probably going to do a backflip. No, probably not. I can't do a backflip yet. But I'm going to go in. I'm going to have some food. I'm probably going to drink a little bit. I'm going to have a good time. And what does that tell you? Well, if I wanted to just kind of make this more of a lifestyle, I would have to shift my approach because you don't want to really like overly binge on purpose. Now, I'm going to eat for sure. Now, if you're just trying to lose body fat, you could fit in a burger, you could fit in pizza. Like, you don't have to restrict those things. You just need to be in a slight calorie deficit. By allowing yourself to have some of those foods, you can maintain your calorie deficit for a longer period of time because you won't feel like you're starving yourself. You won't feel like you're being restricted, and that will help you in the long run when you're trying to be in a calorie deficit for 3, 6, 9 months because you want to lose 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds, right? If you want to lose a lot of fat, it's going to take a long time. So it needs to be somewhat enjoyable. But for the weight cut, it could be shorter periods of time where you can implement that fasting. Anyway, guys, I'm getting pretty tired. Probably just going to let it go for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and comment, as that really helps with the engagement, as well as subscribe so you can keep a hold of future uploads. I can do any type of video that you guys want. If you guys want to talk about strength conditioning, nutrition, jiu-jitsu matches, technique breakdowns, we could do that all here. So just let me know if that's what you're interested in. And thanks so much. Peace out. Love you guys.